Hey guys, this is the Golden Sorcerer, and in this video, I'm gonna be reacting to 15 weirdest ways people have died. And this video was made by Planet Dolan. So yeah, should be pretty interesting. Let's start.
Danger Dolan. From drowning at a pool party full of lifeguards to fatally tripping on your own beard, we count 15 strange ways people have died. Number 15. The London beer flood. Beer lovers might look at this and go, hell yeah, that's how I want to go. On paper, it's a bit like Futurama's Death by Snoo Snoo, but the reality was actually pretty horrifying. The London beer flood occurred in 1814 when a giant vat at a brewery burst. It had a domino effect, rupturing all the surrounding vats and causing...
Damn, like a whole town got flooded just by beer? Wow, that's crazy.
Over 323,000 imperial gallons of beer to gush into the streets. The beer tsunami filled basements, destroyed homes, and crumbled a local pub, trapping an employee inside. 8 people died in the disaster, which incredibly was ruled an act of God. Number 14. Death by
was ruled an act of God. Like, that's what you get for drinking beer. But, like, that's crazy. That's just like crazy. Like, not just a regular flood, but a beer flood. Like, that would just sound so like weird that a whole bunch of people died from drowning in beer.
Case. When Marietta Weber was reported missing by her family, no one thought she'd turn up 11 days later behind a bookcase. Fearing she'd been kidnapped, Weber's sister went to investigate a strange smell coming from Marietta's bedroom. She checked behind the bookcase and discovered a woman's foot. Her flashlight revealed Weber was wedged...
Really? A woman's foot behind her bookshelf?
Upside down behind the unit. This wasn't some marathon game of hide and seek that went wrong. Family members suspect she slipped and fell trying to adjust a television plug behind the bookshelf. She would have been unable to breathe in the position she was in. Number 13. Drowning at a lifeguard's pool.
Wait, so what happened again? Was that her foot wait, I didn't understand that.
Suspect she slipped and fell. Her flashlight revealed Weber was wedged upside down behind the unit. This wasn't some marathon game of hide and seek that went wrong. Family members suspect she slipped and fell trying to adjust a television plug behind the bookshelf. She would have been unable to breathe in the position she was in. Number 13.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Drowning at a lifeguard's pool party. In 1985...
I mean, drowning isn't really that weird of a death, is it? But... let's see what
New Orleans lifeguards threw a rockin' pool party to celebrate their first drowning-free season. The party was a resounding success until a 31-year-old non-lifeguard guest was found dead at the bottom of the recreation department's pool.
Wow, that must be like the worst lifeguard ever. He's not even watching out for the people there.
4 lifeguards on duty at the party, and more than half of the 200 attendees were lifeguards themselves, but somehow no one was able to save Jeremy Moody. Number 12.
Ah, that sucks. That lifeguard should be fired.
Death by sheep. In 1999, a 67-year-old woman in Durham, England, carried a bale of hay to the back of her motorcycle to feed her flock of sheep. Unfortunately, the hungry sheep flunked Irvine University, so never learned patience. They charged the bike, and Betty Stobbs was knocked into a deep ravine. Incredibly, Stobbs survived the fall, but quickly died a Final Destination-style death when her bike landed on top of her. Number 11. Death by garbage.
That sucks. You're like, yes, I just barely got away. And then your bike lands on top of you and you die. Like, oh, never mind.
Compulsive hoarders Homer and Langley Collier were found dead in their New York City home when the mountain of possessions they'd accumulated collapsed, trapping them. The brothers had spent decades obsessively collecting newspapers and other junk items, and even set up elaborate booby traps. I guess they feared intruders might break in and steal their world-renowned bottle cap collection. The cave-in trapped Homer, leaving Langley to call through tunnels of newspapers to bring his paralyzed brother food. During one of these runs, Langley set off one of his own traps, and Homer was left to die of starvation. When police entered, they found Homer's deceased body. It took another 2 weeks to remove nearly 100 tons of garbage from the house. Only then did workers find Langley's decomposed, rat-chewed body just 10 feet from where they'd found his brother. Number 10.
Died by your own trap. What an idiot.
Death by ridiculous infections. If someone asked you to guess how you'll die one day, chances are you wouldn't say infection caused by some really trivial minor fuck-up. But that's exactly what happened to 9th century Norse warrior Sigurd the Mighty, who, after emerging victorious in combat, strapped his enemy's severed head to his saddle and rode home. He ended up grazing his leg on the exposed teeth and died from the ensuing infection. Alan Pinkerton, father of the Pinkerton Detective Agency, faced a similarly ridiculous fate. He slipped on the sidewalk, bit his own tongue, and died from the infection. Finally, famous whiskey
Wow, what the hell? What?
distiller Jack Daniel came into work one morning to open his safe. He couldn't remember the damn combination, so kicked the safe in anger. His toe sustained an injury, which later developed into an infection and killed him. Number 9.
What the hell? How? That honestly makes no sense. That's really weird. But I mean, this video is called Weirdest Deaths for a reason, I guess.
Death by dancing. In 1518, a woman stepped into the streets of...
Death by dancing? Like, what happened? Did she just, like, fall and hit her head really hard? I'm guessing that something like that's gonna happen.
Strasbourg City and started to dance. Several days later, she was still at it, and hundreds had joined in. This was the first of what became Europe's compulsive dancing outbreaks. Authorities believed the affliction would pass if the affected danced it out, Napoleon Dynamite style. So halls were made available and musicians were hired. Days passed, but none quit. Eventually, people dropped dead of sheer exhaustion. It took months for the epidemic to recede, and the afflicted...
Really? Drop dead of sheer exhaustion. Like, they're not gonna stop if they get that tired. Because wouldn't you be able to feel if you're literally that exhausted and yet they don't stop? What?
Had to be loaded into wagons and taken to a healing shrine. It's believed this mass hysteria was caused by extreme famine, disease, and spiritual despair. Number 8. Death by misunderstanding. Rumor has it that...
Death by misunderstanding? What? Like, did he misunderstand an order or something and did something that, like, killed him or whatever? Okay.
While suffering from a bad cough, Napoleon accidentally ordered the execution of over 1,000 prisoners. To his officers, he said, "Massacre tout," which meant, "my damn cough." However, his officers thought he said, "Massacre tout," which means, "massacre all." Accounts of the incident vary, but it's pretty horrifying if it's true. Number 7.
Damn. Okay, that makes sense. Death by misunderstanding, because he gave the wrong orders.
Death by reenactment. In 1991, a 57-year-old Thai woman named Yuket Payen was taking a stroll on her Bangkok farm when she slipped on some mud and grabbed a naked live wire. She died by electrocution. But wait, in case you think this is some morbid version of Funniest Home Videos, there's more to the story. Later that same day, Payen's sister was showing neighbours how the tragedy occurred when she also slipped, grabbed the very same wire, and tragically died. Number 6. Death by carrot juice. Basil Brown.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this one before. Death by carrot juice.
Was a UK health fanatic who managed to drink himself to death with carrot juice. He reportedly drank more than a gallon of the sweet stuff a day, believing it would give him X-ray vision or just...
But I don't think, would more than a gallon of it really kill you though? Because I know you can like die if you like drink way too much of anything, but more than a gallon a day, would that really kill you? Because there are people that drink like more than a gallon of water a day and they're fine.
Generally make him healthier. He ended up guzzling over 10 gallons in 10 days, which gave him 10,000 times more than the recommended amount of vitamin A, and ultimately led to fatal liver damage. Number 5.
That's why you don't drink carrot juice.
Death by beard. In 1567, an Austrian...
Really? Death by beard? What?
Man named Hans Hans Steininger broke his neck after tripping over his own beard while trying to escape a fire. Steininger was famous for having the world's longest beard. He'd grown it an impressive 4.5 feet, but that day had forgotten to roll it up. One would imagine a monstrous beard like that would make getting around tricky. It's probably why famous beardies like Gandalf, Merlin, and Dumbledore used magic. Number 4, death by legal
Died by tripping over its own beard. Wow.
defense. 38-year-old Canadian lawyer Gary Hoy died while trying to prove that the glass in the windows of a 24th-story office was unbreakable. The lawyer, who was one of the firm's best and brightest, had apparently developed the strange habit of hurling himself against the window to demonstrate its strength. Ordinarily, he would bounce right off the window pane, leaving a room full of onlookers clapping. But on the fateful day in 1993, his little trick failed and the window popped right out of its frame, sending him plummeting to his death. Amusingly, the technical term for this kind of death is accidental auto-defenestration. Number 3.
Idiot. Why would you try that? Like, it's glass. Of course it can break if you, like, hit it hard enough.
Death by sauna. Russian Vladimir Ladizensky died during the 2010 World Sauna Championships in Finland, having spent 6 minutes in a sauna. He'd endured temperatures of 110 degrees Celsius and was trying to outlast the Finnish reigning champ. When the doors opened, both men collapsed and were bleeding from severe burns. First aid was administered, but the Russian competitor later died. Apparently, all the ordinary competition rules were followed, so the death was considered quite a shock. Number 2. Death by method acting. British actor
Death by method acting?
Gareth Jones met an unfortunate end when he suffered a heart attack while performing in a live televised play in 1958. The weird thing is that his character was actually scripted to have a heart attack. The other cast members improvised around his death and redistributed his lines on the fly. Miraculously, they finished the play with the audience none the wiser, but Jones could not be revived. Another death was narrowly avoided during a live play when an actor accidentally activated a working defibrillator that was being used as a prop. The receiving actor received severe burns to the chest, but pulled through. Suddenly, all those plays that don't have near-death experiences seem kind of boring. Number 1. Mass death by...
Number 1, what's this gonna be? Death by soccer ball, it looks like. Let's see. Death by lightning while playing soccer, looks like. Let's see what it is.
Miraculous lightning strike. An entire soccer team died mid-game in the Democratic Republic of the Congo when lightning struck the wet field. What's freaky is that the entire home team survived. The lightning killed 11 young players aged between 20 and 35. 30 others received burns, but the athletes from the other team came out curiously unscathed. Accusations of witchcraft arose. Apparently, it's common practice
of witchcraft. It's like the other team practiced witchcraft so they could just make the other team die so they could win. Like,
for teams and fans to call upon the services of witch doctors to curse their opponents. Guess they really take their sport seriously. That's it for this countdown. Have a good one!
Okay, so that was 15 weirdest deaths. And yeah, those were some pretty crazy deaths. And if you guys enjoyed, then be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And see you all later.